Hello and welcome along to episode 84 of the All Things Leeds podcast with myself, Ed McIntyre, and joining me remotely, of course, as always, Charles Foster. Charles, hello, mate.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm quite well, especially after Tuesday night's game. How are you, mate?
Yeah, games like that will always lift your mood. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, it was a brilliant game on Tuesday night, wasn't it, from Leeds United? We'll be digesting that game in full on this show, that 5-0 win over West Brom away from home. We've got some news to go into as well before we look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Tottenham Hotspur away from home on Saturday. And this is the last episode of 2020. So to celebrate the last episode of the year, Charles and I will be going over our top 5 Leeds United moments of 2020. So that should be a lot of fun to go into. Loads coming up here on the All Things Leeds podcast. Well, as always, let's start by analysing Leeds United's previous game, which was on Tuesday evening. Leeds United thrashing West Brom 5-0 away at the Hawthorns. Charles, what performance and what a result.
Yeah, it was a great performance, great to watch. Nice and stress-free for once. I think everyone can agree on that one. And we've been talking about the importance of picking up big results against sides that are going to be in and around at the end of the season. This was very important, and it was just very pleasing to see.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, this was a must not lose game. I probably would have taken a point, to be fair, but no, for 3 points is very pleasing. You know, as you say, against a team who we really should be beating as well. And yeah, stress free. You know, the first goal coming really early on and just complete domination. It was just really really nice to watch. You know, stress free, which we haven't said too many times. Being Leeds United fans, but no, it was just brilliant. Leeds United were brilliant, dominant throughout the whole game. West Brom barely had a sniff. I mean, Messier had not much to do at all. There was that one scare in the second half, but he didn't have much to do at all, really. I mean, the stats just say it all, don't they? Shots, Leeds United had 14 compared to West Brom's 4. 6 of our 14 shots were on target compared to West Brom's 1. 76% possession. 762 passes completed compared to West Brom's 238. Our passing accuracy was 89%. Theirs was 65%. 10 fouls for most compared to their 7. But no, just complete domination. Corners 10 compared to West Brom's 3. So we kept set pieces down to a minimum, which was pleasing. And Leeds United were just brilliant on Tuesday night. Sam Allardyce came out after the game and said that Leeds didn't just outplay us tonight. They outran us tonight too. And we really did, didn't we, Charles?
I don't know why they always say that with surprise. We outrun every single team we play. And we outwork it. But we did. We were phenomenal. It's nice to see that Allardyce wasn't particularly salty about it, which, you know, sometimes managers like him. I know Neil Warnock would not have taken that one gracefully.
No, not at all. But an astonishing performance. You know, fitness levels were so good. You know, to say that this was our second game in 3 days, you know, it is coming at the end of the festive fixture period, you know, where games are crammed into a short space of time. Fitness levels were superb. Composure in front of goals was superb. It was vintage BielsaBall, vintage Bielsa football. It was a big 2s up to all the doubters, really, wasn't it, Charles? You know, all the media, you know, saying Bielsa needs to change his ways. This was just Bielsa saying, "Shut up, I know what I'm doing."
I think I saw somebody tweet about how it was massively important that Bielsa won this game, won it convincingly, because otherwise every single newspaper and pundit would be spouting off how Bielsa's been found out by good old-fashioned gravy-drinking Brexit lawn ball crap, which is, you know, fantastic to just see that that's, you know, completely ineffective and they did nothing. Yeah, it was a phenomenal performance. Probably the most complete one in a long, long time.
Yeah, was this Leeds' best performance under Bielsa?
There's been some good ones. If you're talking about like a full 90 minutes, I think it's probably up there. But, you know, that second half versus Hull, you know, in the Championship, you know, when we won 4-0, that was pretty convincing. The game against West Brom a couple of seasons ago, when we beat them 4-0 at Elland Road, that was pretty, you know, convincing and all-encompassing. But this one probably is just because it was just start to finish. There was never any hint of a threat whatsoever from them. The only time the biggest and best chance they had was us messing around on our own 18-yard box, passing the ball to Diangana, and even then they didn't score. When
Yeah.
it was 1-on-1. So yeah, it was completely stress-free, entertaining, and it was just nice to get that goal difference back to 0.
Yeah, it really, really was. I mean, that's now 30 goals conceded and 30 goals scored from Leeds United this season.
The entertainers.
Yeah, I mean, it as you say, the fact that Bielsa won, to shut the doubters up and, just to show, look, entertaining football is the way to go. None of this dinosaur tactics, Sam Allardyce boring tactics. I mean, I was saying to my dad during the game, if I'm a West Brom fan, I'm fuming. I feel sorry for them because they have to watch that crap every single week. That's what West Brom games are going to be like from now on. Just them sitting deep, and then maybe they'll scrap out. They'll grind out with 1-0 or 1-1, or they'll get thrashed like we did here. I mean, I predicted. We both predicted it was going to be a hard game, but I said it could go one of two ways. We could absolutely batter them, or they could nick something. But no, we absolutely tore them to pieces, really. And West Brom, they look a poor side, and they're probably going to go down. To be honest, I don't see any way that they can stay up unless they invest in quality in January, because they don't have much quality in that side. I totally do, West Brom, and I do feel sorry for the fans because they have to watch that crap. Gone from Slaven Bilic to Sam Allardyce.
I was just confused, really confused at they didn't play Pereira for whatever reason. He's definitely one of their better players. Carlin Grant, even though he was fantastic for Huddersfield at points last season, he never seemed to get into the game. He got kind of muscled out of the game by Struijk and Elland, and it was just all very confusing. And then at half time, when you're 4-0 down, you think, well, may as well just chuck some people and have a bit of a go at this. They brought on Ivanovic, who's who's like 48 years old, to stand in front of the park and stuff. Which, to be fair, they were better in the second half. I thought they pressed us a bit further up, and I thought it was a bit more of a contest in the second half, but only because we stopped trying. Basically, we just passed it round, and they pressed us a little bit more. It was, other than a couple of moments of quality, obviously the Bamford chance and that, they didn't really do much. But yeah, it's confusing with West Brom. I think, as you say, they need investment, but if Bielsa had control of them players, their players are arguably of a similar quality to ours. I think we're just tactically set up much better.
Yeah. I mean, you look at last season, West Brom gave us some hard games. We drew 1-1 away there on New Year's Day.
We didn't score against them last season. All their goals that we got were own goals.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just the fact that Sam Allardyce, it shows that, Bielsa ball just smiles better than the old kind of football tactics that Sam Allardyce likes. And nothing Sam Allardyce bringing on Ivanovic, 40-odd-year-old defender for Matt Phillips. It just says it all, really, doesn't it? You're 4-0 down at home at half time, and you take off one of your best attackers for a defender. It just says it all, really. And then
later on in the game, they took Carlin Grant off, a striker, and they brought on Pereira, who I think he's an attacking midfielder. So they're taking off their only striker they had on the pitch as well.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Yeah, it really, really was. But now Leeds United were just superb. The most pleasing thing for me was, we both got promoted last season, both West Brom and Leeds, and it's clear to see that we've taken massive steps compared to them. And that is the most pleasing thing. We've established ourselves as a proper top Premier League side, haven't we?
I think we've just got that bit more belief about us and faith in the system than they do. I mean, because obviously we've taken a few beatings this season, but we've always bounced back and put in some good performances. We've had we're the first team this season to score 5 goals in both a home game and an away game, in the Newcastle game and this game. So we've just got the belief and the we know we'll score.
Yeah,
we've got we've got the faith in ourselves. They kind of look like they're waiting to get beat at times.
Yeah.
And they need to kind of get rid of that, otherwise they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they really will be. But no, Leeds United were superb. Let's digest the game fully, shall we? So the opening goal arrived in the 9th minute. Up until that point, the game was going as expected, really. West Brom were just sitting deep. Leeds had all the possession, keeping it in West Brom's half for the main. Not going to lie, it was quite dull at times, really, what was the game. Just seeing Leeds pass it around and West Brom not really putting us under any kind of pressure. It was, quite dull at times. But no, the first goal on the 9th minute was just an absolute gift, wasn't it? Sawyers attempting to pass the ball back to Sam Johnston without looking to see that the goalkeeper had actually moved way off his line. And the ball rolled past Johnson and into the back of the net. I mean, when it went in, you kind of had to just sit back for a moment and just actually process what had happened, because you just couldn't quite believe it. I mean, this was hilarious, wasn't it?
I laughed out loud. I did. I was watching it with my dad and my brother, and I just thought it was funny. I couldn't understand why. A number of things. One, why they were trying to pass it around the back, because they clearly don't know how to do that. Because we were pressuring them quite well, but you think with an Allardyce team, they just hoof it long and clear the danger. But then the second thing I don't understand is why Sam Johnson is not even in his 6-yard box. I know obviously people might say he's presenting an angle for the defence to pass to him, but he's clearly not communicated that. He's clearly not shouted that. Otherwise, otherwise Sawyers would have passed it a lot closer to him instead of towards the goal. So,
but I think Sawyer's making a pass. He has to look and see where he is.
Yeah, but you can do no look passes if your keeper just communicates. While you're facing the wrong way. So you know where he is. But
unless your keeper's going to go, I'm 3 o'clock. Here's the angle which I'm at. He can say, I've moved a bit, but you need to look to see where he is.
Well, you can just give him a shout. Just say, I've moved over here. Pass it back. And he can just turn around and quickly just send it away. And then obviously third, why Sawyers doesn't look up. He didn't have much time. Rodriguez, to be fair to him, is pressing him quite well. But yeah, and he puts a lot of pace on it as well. It's not like, I know obviously he's wary of Bamford maybe pouncing on a weak pass, but even still, there's a lot of pace on that pass back to a goalkeeper. But it's a comedy of errors, and basically gifted as the opening goal, which kind of gave us the benchmark to push on and punish him further.
Yeah, it really did. And it was just hilarious. I mean, what a known goal as well. 20 yard screamer. Yeah, it was a fantastic finish. Do you want to know, do you know when Leeds United's last own goal came in Leeds' favour? Do you know when that came?
Last own goal. Was it the... No, you have to tell me.
In the Premier League. It was from William Gallas against Chelsea on December the 28th, 2002.
Jesus.
Many
18 years ago.
18 years ago, the last own goal Leeds had got. But no, as you say, the goal, opened it up for us. Really, Calvin Phillips tried to double Leeds' lead when he struck the ball from distance, but Johnston was right behind it. But Leeds, of course, did double their lead on 31 minutes. A loose ball fell perfectly to Alioski. He set himself well and smashed the ball first time in off the right-hand post. I mean, this was a lovely finish. Absolutely lovely finish from Alioski.
First of all, if Alioski does not score this is a penalty because it's a handball. It's a blatant handball. It hits him in the wrist. It hits him like there. If you watch I think it's is it Rodrigo or Dallas that whips it in? It's either Rodrigo or Dallas whips it in, and it just hits the West Brom player on the arm, and his arm's raised up here. So I think the referee, or VAR at least, would give that, because all the Leeds players appealed for it as well. So, but that's irrelevant now because we scored anyway. Onto the goal. It's it's just a great finish. It's sometimes when Alioski's teeing these up, you wonder whether it's going to go in the back of the net or into row Z. But this was just phenomenal. Obviously, it goes in off the post in the end, and he didn't give Johnson any kind of chance with it. He's kind of unmarked at the far end of the box, and it's just a fantastic finish. And then 2-0 and we're cruising basically.
Yeah, it was a beautiful finish from Alioski in off the post, which I love goals that get smashed in off the post. I really, really do. And Yeah, when you saw Alioski setting himself up for a shot, you're kind of thinking, no, Alioski, do not do this. Do not do this. Because how many times have we seen Alioski just sky it in these positions? We've seen him do that so many times. But no, great composure from Alioski in there. Yeah, I don't think he's ever hit a ball better than that. You know, he was a fantastic strike from Alioski to make it 2-0.
His one at Huddersfield away last season, you know, was a bit of a worldie. Do you remember that one where they hit it on the volley?
Yeah.
Bamford had to jump out of the way. Oh, that was a great goal as well, to be fair. But yeah, it's one of his, and that one against Forest on the season he joined, you know, that one hit from outside the box. But yeah, he's scored a couple of decent ones, but this is definitely his best one.
Yeah, definitely. This was a fantastic strike from Alioski. And it was 3-0. 5 minutes later, a fantastic play here from Leeds. BielsaBall at its finest here. Jack Harrison cutting in off the left, playing a nice give and go with Bamford into the box. And he found the top left corner. Another wonderful finish from Jack Harrison. Yeah,
just in the build-up, obviously Alioski waits for Harrison to make the run and slips it inside to him, but the West Brom midfield are absolutely nowhere to be seen at this point. Obviously, Romain Sawyer's as gifted as the opening goal with the own goal, but he's also not marking anybody in that kind of defensive midfield zone. Particularly with Leeds, because we do so many cutbacks and you know, cutting inside all the time and getting to the edge of the box. If your defensive midfielder's not up to it or is not close enough to the wingers and stuff when they're cutting in, then we're going to cause teams all sorts of issues. Harrison runs inside, obviously finds Bamford. It's Bamford actually megs the defender to get it through to Harrison, if you watch it again in the old slow-mo. And it's just a great bit of skill for Harrison to get it onto his strong foot and puts it in the top corner. It's just a wonderful goal. It's my dad's favourite goal of the game, but it wasn't mine. We'll get on to mine later on.
It was a fantastic strike. And of course, Leeds made it 4-0 just 5 minutes before half-time. Calvin Phillips playing a really nice ball out to Dallas on that right-hand side. He nodded it down to Click. Click laid the ball off to Rodrigo, and his shot deflected and Click got a sore eye in the celebrations as Rodrigo poked him in the eye while jumping on him. Click, by the way, did actually go off for Jamie Shackleton in the second half. He picked up a slight knock. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully Click is okay. But no, that was a 4-0 at half-time. Rafinha scored Leeds' 5th goal on 72 minutes, cutting in from the right-hand side and curling the ball into the top left corner to grab his 2nd goal for Leeds United. Another amazing finish. Was this the best goal for you?
This was my favourite goal, yeah. It was great. The entire move was brilliant. The give and go from Dallas and Shackleton, working it through to Rafinha. He leaves Lee Peltier in the dust where he belongs. Cuts inside, left foot, top corner, blinding goal.
Yeah.
It was just everything I wanted. And I wanted to see Lee Peltier, you know, for lack of a better phrase, fall on his ass. Rafinha leaving him in the dust.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. And at that point I was thinking about the goal difference. So I was thinking, right, come on, let's get 6 here, because I think we scored that goal in 74 or 75 minutes, if memory serves, something like that. Anyway, late 70s. And so I thought, right, there's enough time for another one here. But you know, we didn't end up with it. But it was just a great goal, and I'm glad to see him scoring because he gets in the good positions, and obviously he's got that winning goal against Everton. But we need I'd love more goals out of him because he's a really exciting player to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Rafinha is so good. He's so exciting to watch. Full of skill, full of pace. You know, a great finisher. You know, a fantastic goal against Everton. Fantastic goal here. You know, Rafinha needs to be called up to Brazil soon because he really, really is a great talent. I can see him. You know, he's 23 now, isn't he, Rafinha? Or he could be 24.
24, anyway, I think now.
Well, I mean, you know, in 3-4 years, he could be worth 40 to 50 million.
Oh yeah, I was laughing at Ian Wright's coverage on. I don't know if you saw the match of the day stuff where he's basically saying he only cost them 17 million. You see some of the wingers in this league that have cost similar amounts, and you're thinking, what have people paid all that money for? When you look at other players, I do think there's some players have been sold for just vast amounts of money that they don't deserve. But they were interviewing. I don't know if in the Athletic they were Phil had done an article on Rafinha a bit, and it's sources close to him basically said that Rafinha decided he wanted to leave Rennes when he realised how low the fee they were going to let him go for. obviously it's the 17 mil plus the 6 million add-ons, and he felt it was worth more than that. And I feel he's worth more than that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. I mean, he's better than Rodrigo is Rafinha. He's more exciting to watch than Rodrigo for me. I think Rafinha is just an excellent player. An excellent player to watch. This was definitely my favourite goal of the game.
I do think Rodrigo gets underappreciated sometimes because a lot of his flicks and turns and stuff, particularly when he turns the opposing midfielder, it does set us off on a lot of attacks. It happened a lot during the game where he would receive the ball with his back up to a man, turn him, and we'd be away, and we'd end up creating a chance for ourselves. And he does that quite a lot. I think he's got the same problem that Click had, over the last couple of seasons, where the kind of good stuff he doesn't tend to get noticed unless he bangs in a screamer. Whereas obviously, because Rafinha's a little bit more easy on the eye, he's a bit more noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't me, bashing Rodrigo. I thought Rodrigo was really good on Tuesday, and he is a really good player. But when you watch both Rafinha and Rodrigo, you're thinking Rodrigo's the man who cost 15 million, and Rafinha's the one who cost 30 million. Rafinha's just such a good player. But no, Rodrigo had a good game here as well. Of course, Rodrigo scored. It was deflected, but no, it was on target anyway.
I was that fourth goal. I thought it was an own goal initially, but I think it's just about on target, the initial shot.
Yeah, but no, an amazing finish by Rafinha. Definitely my favourite goal of the game. I just love watching goals be killed into top corners. I think they're just beautiful finishes. And this was great. I mean, it was like Leeds were having their own goal of the season competition in this game. All the goals really, apart from Rodrigo, because that was deflected. All the goals in this game were just fantastic. Even the own goal was a 20-yard screamer, wasn't it, from Sawyers? So it was just fantastic from Leeds United. First time we've ever scored 5 goals in a single game at the Hawthorns. It was just fantastic. You mentioned there Lee Peltier, by the way. West Brom are in trouble if they're starting Lee Peltier in the Premier League, right?
I think it's because Kieran Gibbs got injured in the warm-up, didn't he? Obviously, Gibbs is ex-Arsenal. He's a decent-ish player. But Lee Peltier being your backup is scary.
Yeah, how is Lee Peltier at a Premier League club? He's so bad.
I was convinced before it kicked off, before I saw was getting to a rhythm. I thought he's definitely going to score from a corner. This is going to be I was convinced Lee Peltier was going to score in some kind of
Yeah, I saw your tweet. That's why your at is cynical Leeds, because you're negative.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a half glass half empty kind of guy, but I'm delighted when I'm proved wrong. I'm more than happy to be proved wrong by a good Leeds performance, and that's what it was.
Yeah, it was fantastic from Leeds United. As I say, 5-0. We almost got sick when Bamford fired just over, but no, 5-0 was the full-time score. Leeds equaling their best ever away league win. It's also the biggest Premier League home defeat in Sam Allardyce's managerial career. But yeah, back-to-back clean sheets for Meslier. Meslier didn't have much to do in the game, as I say. We mentioned there was that scare in the second half, wasn't there, when he tried to pass it to Calvin Phillips, but just gave it away. But he did, Meslier redeemed himself by making a save. Who was your man of the match from the game, Charles?
It's funny because I'm not actually going to say someone who scored. I'm actually going to give it to Calvin Phillips. I think if you watch the game in its entirety, he was just phenomenal. He was the linchpin of every move. He was constantly making blocks, interceptions, and picking up the ball. He was getting us forward all the time. He was just pulling the strings. And I think similar to the Everton game, when he's given that amount of space and time, he can really do you some damage. And I thought he was just brilliant all game. I think you're going to give it to. Did you give it to Alioski in the end? You give it to Alioski?
No, I mean Alioski picked up the man of the match award from BT Sport. And I've never doubted Alioski, have I? Never doubted him. I always thought it was Premier League quality Alioski. But no, I put out a poll on Twitter asking Leeds United fans for their man of the match, as I always do after Leeds United win a game. And there were just too many options for man of the match because it was just such a good performance. So I put out one poll. The 4 options were Calvin Phillips, Alioski, Rafinha, and Jack Harrison. But I had to put out another poll by demand. So Luke Ayling, Patrick Bamford, Rodrigo, and Stuart Dallas was in the other poll. So in the first poll, Alioski won. 56.8% of the vote. Calvin Phillips got 20.5% of the vote, with Rafinha with 13.6 and Jack Harrison 9.1. And then in the second poll, Luke Ayling won it, 54.5% of the vote. Patrick Bamford with 4.5%, Rodrigo 13%, and Stuart Dallas 27%. My man of the match is Ayling. I thought he was superb as the captain. No, I thought Ayling defensively was superb, coming out of defence with the ball. I thought it was really good. I thought, for a captain, he's all you want. I thought Ayling was brilliant.
Yeah, he was constantly carrying the ball out of defence, and I think it's just kind of symptomatic of West Brom, basically in the first half, not pressing us whatsoever, giving us all the time and space in the world. But he was carrying the ball over the halfway line. He was really keeping it neat and tidy. And just before we finish talking about the game, a big shout out to Pascal Struijk and his second clean sheet in two consecutive starts. It's just great stuff.
Yeah.
He's been phenomenal as well, and I think he did he outmuscled Karlan Grant every single opportunity he got. When he had to give away a foul, he gave away near the halfway line. He was properly dominant, and I think he's definitely going to be a very good player in a couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. A second clean sheet in 2 games is very pleasing. No centre backs, no worries. We've got so many defensive injuries, but no, we're picking up clean sheets, and it's fantastic to see. And it was just an all-round superb performance from Leeds United. As I say, 5-0 win, just superb. The 3 points moves us up into 11th place in the Premier League table on 23 points. We are now 12 points above the relegation zone. And we are only 3 points off the top 5, by the way, and 6 points from the top 4. So should we be looking up now, Joe? Should we be focusing on trying to get a European place?
I know. let's keep it under that. We're playing, obviously, Spurs, one of the best teams in the league at the weekend. Should it go ahead, which I think it will, with the class manager Mourinho, and we very well might take another beating if we're not up to the task. So I think we just got to keep on the ground, keep stable, keep mentally focused, and I think we'll be all right. I think the problem is that we are not good enough to beat and batter the top sides in the league, but we are more than good enough to beat the teams that I think are going to be below us. So typically we are mid-table, and I think that's where we're going to remain. But yeah, I'm always going to be delighted when we put in a performance like that. But I think you just got to remain, calm and focused, and realise that we may yet take another couple of beatings this season. That's just part and parcel.
Yeah, it is. But when these games come around, it's fantastic to see. And yeah, just what performance! 5-0 win away at West Brom. Leeds ending what has been a great and historic year for the club, ending the year in style. But yeah, we of course move on to the Spurs game this Saturday in the new year. Charles and I will preview that game later on in the show. Well, it was a fantastic performance by Leeds United on Tuesday night, but unfortunately it was somewhat overshadowed by what happened on Twitter after the game. So Leeds United's official club Twitter account tweeted out a clip of what pundit Karen Carney said live on Amazon Prime Video. She stated that Leeds only won promotion because of COVID. Now, this sparked huge outrage. People claiming it was sexist and that the club was tagged in her only because she's female. But the club weren't, though, were the Charles. The club had no intention of making this, a big thing. It was simply the club fighting back against just an absolutely ridiculous comment, really. It was the people complaining that made it about sexism, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was people misinterpreting the tweet and misinterpreting the issue entirely. I'm not saying there weren't some disgraceful sexist tweets out there, because there almost certainly were.
Yeah,
and I obviously completely disagree with any of them. But I think you should be within your rights to criticise the opinions of any pundit. I mean, with the official club account and all the Leeds fans that we've criticised this season alone, Gabby Bonlaw, Paul Merson, I mean, Digital Wilson had a pop at Niall Horan a couple of years ago. We'll literally have a pop at. It's not to do with gender or any sort of specific reason. It's purely down to incompetence and making lazy assumptions.
Yeah.
They get paid a lot of money to. We don't get paid anything when we do this podcast, so we're not held to as high a standard as someone who's been paid a lot of money by Amazon or BT or Sky and all like that. Who are paid to go on there and talk about it. They need to know what they're talking about, and if they give enough inaccurate or false opinions based on things that aren't true or assumptions, then they're going to get called out about that. I don't agree with people getting personal and piling on at all. And to be honest, in hindsight, I wish the club hadn't done the tweet. Not because I don't think she deserved. Not because I don't think she deserves to be criticised. I think the reaction was just predictable, and I think it has led to something which wasn't really necessary and a problem which didn't need to occur. But that being said, I do think you should be free to criticise any pundit, and I think it's patronising to any female pundits to say that you can't criticise them at all. You can only criticise male pundits. I think if you're searching for equality, then you are equal in getting criticised for your opinions.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there are some good female pundits. I like Alex Scott on Match of the Day whenever she's on. I think she gives a very balanced input and informative input. I just think with this, it's just. I think she spoke before she thought, and I think the backlash has been unacceptable, really.
Yeah.
The personal stuff and the sexist stuff completely unacceptable. But yeah. Everyone's opinions is going to get criticised on sport, and Roy Keane gets pelters all the time. Michael Richards gets pelters all the time. It happens to everybody.
Yeah,
and Gary Lineker gets pelters every day. But and I think I disagree with people having a pop at the club and making assumptions that it's to do with because it's a female pundit, and that's just more. That's just lazy on behalf of people of these blue tick journalist accounts. Again, making assumptions that the Leeds account is doing something and reacting inappropriately.
Yeah. I don't agree with people having a go at the club for tweeting. As I agree with you. In hindsight, I wish that the club didn't tweet it, and I couldn't quite believe it when I actually saw it. I saw the notification come through. It was like for Square Ball, probably tweeted some fan account, but no, it came from the actual club itself. And I was thinking, just leave it to the fans to have a go at it. It was going around the Twitter anyway beforehand, so just leave it to the fans have. But the club tweeted it anyway. I don't think it was bad that the club tweeted it. I think it's just the club highlighting bad statements from these so-called experts. They get paid a lot of money, as you say, to go on TV and say stuff. We get paid nothing, and we put in more research, I feel, than half of these pundits, to be honest. So now I don't think the club are wrong with tweeting out, but I think it's bad that people think pundits shouldn't, that pundits should be allowed to get away with saying any old bollocks that they want. I think that's the bad thing, that they're criticizing people for criticizing bad comments, really.
Well, in the words of Jamie Vardy, chat shit, get banged.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that when it comes to journalists and pundits. If you insult a football club or make aspersions on a football club, and that goes to any journalist of any gender or any race or any religion or whatever. If you make comments, I think the way that the Leeds camp reacted the way it did, because they felt it was disrespectful to all the hard work that the club have put in over the last 2 years, the members of staff, the players, the management team, and to say that all of that and all the good results they got on the build-up, the 5 clean sheet wins they got prior to lockdown, and then to say, oh yeah, they only got promoted because of this. I think the club just felt like the sports journalism world was kind of sticking an asterisk on their promotion, and kind of disrespecting the club's best achievement in 16 years. And I felt that's why the club reacted the way they did. But if you're a journalist and you're having a pop at a football club, then you're going to get some hit back, particularly from the fans.
Yeah.
Although, as we've previously said, I don't think the banter was worth the backlash in this case. And I think if you asked Digital Wilson, he'd probably agree that he wish he hadn't tweeted it.
Yeah, like if you knew what was going to occur after tweeting it, then don't tweet it. But no, the tweeting itself, I don't think is bad from the club, really. But yeah, no, you're putting yourself on national television. If you're going to say something ridiculous, then you're going to be called up on it. And yeah, here it's just taking a turn for the worse. But no, Andrea Rosani, the owner of Leeds United, did come out on Twitter and said that he takes responsibility for the club tweets. He said, I consider that comment completely unnecessary and disrespectful to our club, and particularly the fantastic hard work of our players and coaches whom were understanding of the pitch for the last 2 championship seasons by all stats. And yeah, it really does just undermine all the hard work from the club, really. I mean, telling Leeds fans that you only got promoted because of COVID is like telling Liverpool fans you only won the Premier League title because of COVID. It's completely false information. The comment was just false, because before the lockdown, we had won 5 games in a row, unbeaten in 6. Burnout was not happening.
With 5 clean sheets, and then the game we came back after the supposed 3 months, we lost.
Cardiff.
Yeah, we lost to Cardiff. Yeah, I mean, obviously we won 9 of the last 11 games. Was it 9 last? Was it no? It was 7 of the last. Was it 7 of the last 9 we won, with 1 draw and 1 loss? So, I mean, there's an argument to be made, but I think the momentum was there anyway. We built the momentum. To be honest, the COVID break came at the worst possible time for us, because we were on a roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see people are making these basically lazy assumptions without doing any research. But that doesn't just go for Karen. That goes for all the blue tick accounts I've seen commenting on it over the last 24 hours, and there's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think it's just something we have to move on from, and I'd like to direct the focus back onto the fantastic play in the West Brom game, and I think we should just try our best to kind of put that kind of incident behind us.
Yeah, and I think it is being brushed under the carpet now. Thankfully, the abuse aimed at Karen, was completely uncalled for. We do not agree with that at all, as you say, Charles. The club have contacted Karen personally and invited her to the training ground to carry out a TV report ahead of the FA Cup third round match against Crawley, which is nice of him, kind of an apology in itself there. And yeah, hopefully after that, it's now the whole thing has kind of been brushed under the carpet, really. But no, it's important to highlight stupid comments, really, because it really wasn't. The club have done it before, with the likes of Gabby Bonlahor. So, it's nothing new. It's just, this just took a turn for the worst, unfortunately. But as I say, it's important to highlight, poor punditry, because hopefully it makes the quality of punditry change. I mean, we praise good punditry, don't we? From the likes of Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher. As you say, it's nothing to do with who they are, because if it was, we wouldn't be praising ex-Scum players, for their comments on Leeds United.
In fact, I find the fact that Gary Neville is such a good pundit kind of annoying, because I dislike him. I hated him as a player.
Yeah, I don't want to like him, but I do, because he's so nice about Leeds United. It's nothing about who they are and the gender and the colour of the skin. It's about good punditry and bad punditry, and highlighting when ridiculous comments like these are made. And it's important, because, as I say, hopefully the quality of punditry changes. I mean, what can be done, Charles, to improve punditry and analysis? Because is it down to the pundits themselves to do the research, or is it down to the broadcasting companies to inform them better? Because these broadcasting companies, they have research teams themselves, but they just don't seem to do anything with it. They don't seem to tell their own workers, all right, here's all the facts that you need to know for this game. So what can be done to improve it, do you think?
I think there has to be a higher standard of knowledge for the people who are going on being pundits on programs for BT and Sky and Amazon and BBC and ITV. There has to be a higher standard of just knowledge about the game, because it's all right being an ex-player, but you need to be able to articulate yourself properly, and be able to know your stuff and know the ins and outs and the reasons and the relevant stats to the clubs and the games you commented on. And it's not like you don't know about these things beforehand. You know what games you're going to be going to. You know what you don't know about the team is until an hour before kickoff, but you know a lot of the details about the clubs. About injuries and stuff. So, and you can easily look up records from previous seasons, things like that. It's not taxing work. And as you say, even if they don't want to do all that research themselves, they can just cooperate with the research teams at the TV companies. So I think there just needs to be a higher standard. I think some pundits you get on are brilliant. I think Bilic is a great pundit, which I'm delighted the fact he's been sacked, to be honest, because he's going to end up back on one of these programs at some point. So I honestly love to hear him commenting, and Alex Scott and people like that. And Ian Wright's a decent pundit, and Alan Shearer's a decent pundit. You can get a lot of. You wouldn't ask Wayne Rooney to be a pundit, would you?
No.
I mean, the man can barely spell his own name, so. Phenomenal striker in his day, but there's more to being a pundit than just having played the sport.
Yeah. I do think that there needs to be some level of just knowledge and understanding, as a base level, really. But then I just say, I do have some sort of sympathy for pundits, because it's very hard to know everything about each single club. But you know what game you're going to be at. Just do a little bit of research, and then cooperate with the TV companies. I think the TV companies should do better to inform their staff. Oh yeah, these are the facts that you need to know for this game. And then if you want to know anything else, just do research yourselves. But definitely more research needs to be done from TV companies and pundits. But no, hopefully punditry now improves after all this. Hopefully it's a big wake up call, because watching analysis on TV is quite unwatchable sometimes, with the amount of stupid things that are being said, about club, the clubs that you love. We're fans. We love the club. We love the sport, and we don't want to hear just ridiculous things made with no real, background knowledge of it.
No, we don't, and it is frustrating sometimes, but I think there needs to be more of a crackdown on social media on these kind of deeply kind of hurtful, hateful, personal comments. Sexism, racism needs to be more of a crackdown on that as well, because I do think that a lot of what is said is beyond the pale. But as I've said previously, the criticism is part and parcel of doing anything like that. I mean, we get criticism, and we're not exactly high level of highbrow. We get pelted sometimes with stuff we say. We've had arguments with people on Twitter. I try not to engage with a lot of it. I know you don't either, but some of it's just daft but yeah, there needs to be a crackdown on that kind of thing. But
100%.
Yeah.
But no, hopefully the whole thing with Karen Carney can be pushed under the carpet now, and hopefully no one abuses people like that again, because that was uncalled for. But hopefully the whole thing's pushed under the carpet, and as I say, hopefully a punditry and analysis on TV changes for the better now. Well, moving on, in other news, the Premier League have said that they are not discussing the possibility of a circuit break for the season amid a rise in COVID cases in the game. This comes after various Premier League clubs and managers have said that they want to have the league halted. Now, the health and well-being of everyone is the most important thing. And, if coronavirus cases are rising, Charles, do you think a break is probably the best thing?
I think it's a bit confusing, because obviously the Premier League has the rule that if you've got 14 fit professional players in your team, you've got to compete. But they seem to be allowing Manchester City and Fulham to postpone their games. So I don't know how much they're going to follow their own rules there in that extent. But obviously the well-being of the players is the most important thing. But personally, I can't see it happen. I don't think it will happen. I don't think the Premier League will leave it down to the players to take personal responsibility, and with their, asking them to, isolate as best as possible, especially if they're in London, because the cases are particularly bad in the southeast. But obviously, the health of the players and the staff and the management and everyone there is more important than the sport itself. And if a circuit breaker is necessary, then I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with a couple of weeks off and then going straight back to it. But I'm hoping that the isolated incidents with Manchester City and Fulham are just that, isolated incidents.
Yeah, of course, well wishes to any football teams are affected with coronavirus cases. If it's going to keep people safe, then definitely halt the season 100%. But I can't see it happening really. But if coronavirus cases do keep on rising, then definitely take a break in the season if it is necessary. Because you've got games being postponed all over the place now. Spurs' game against Fulham at home on a Wednesday night was postponed just moments before the game was due to kick off. You can't have stuff like that, really, can you? So if games are being postponed every single week, then yeah, it's probably best just to take a break for a while.
I mean, it's not so bad when you've got the likes of Tottenham against Fulham because they're both in London and not too far apart. But can you imagine if it was, Newcastle going away to Southampton and getting told that the game has been postponed after they travel all the way down? So there's got to be a bit of, kind of foresight there on behalf of the Premier League. They've got to see that if they think about postponement is likely, then they need to, be as quick as possible about it.
Yeah, definitely. If you think a game needs to be postponed, then just do it very early, or if it is for the best, then definitely put the season to a halt, put a circuit breaker in there, and just take a break for a while. But no, an interesting development there. We'll need to keep an eye on that one. Well, to celebrate the end of 2020, Charles and I will be revealing our top 5 Leeds United moments of the year. So, Charles, we'll work our way up to our favourite moment, and I'll kick us off here. So, number 5 for me is quite simply kicking off at Anfield. The moment our season began, just seeing us play Premier League football for the first time in 16 years. So the first time in my lifetime that I can remember. That was just a surreal moment, and it had to be in my top 5 moments.
I mean, I'd probably put that at number 4 for me. I think that was a fantastic moment, and it like yourself, I first started, kind of more regularly going to games. We were, well into League One days. So for me, if you'd have told me when we were in League One that we were eventually going to be playing away at Anfield in a few years, I'd have laughed in your face, to be honest. But that was phenomenal, and I watched it with my brother and my cousin, and it was just fantastic to just come out and give a proper account of ourselves and have everyone realise how good we actually play and how decent our approach to the game is, and you get the respect I think we deserve given the style of play that we put forward.
Yeah.
For me, number 5 is probably that Luke Ayling thunder bastard against Huddersfield, which you weren't there for.
No, I wasn't. That's why I had it in my list. Well, I'm the first draft of my list, picking out all the top 5 moments, and I did have it in there, but I had to take it out simply because I wasn't there. I don't want to be reminded that I wasn't there for that. It's definitely a fantastic moment up there. Ayling's goal in that 2-0 win over Huddersfield Town at Elland Road, and that was on the 7th of March. Can you believe? Feels like years ago. But yeah, the last game at Elland Road with fans, of course. The last goal that was scored at the South Stand, which is where we are in, Charles, with fans in there. That was definitely a special moment. Definitely, I wanted to put it on my list because it's just a fantastic goal from Luke Ayling and a fantastic celebration as well. I love the celebration, the Guitar Hero celebration, but because I wasn't there, I could not put it in my list. I just could not bear the thought of it. But number 5 on your list is that definitely, I definitely understand that.
Right, what's your number 4?
Number 4 for me is quite recent, to be honest. As recent as Tuesday night, really. The 5-0 win over West Brom at the Hawthorns.
That's very, very recent.
Yeah.
Yesterday, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, I just had to put it in there. So originally, the kickoff at Anfield on the 12th of September, special date now, the first time we've kicked off in the Premier League in my lifetime. But no, that was originally number 4, and number 5 was the Hull City game because it was just the most complete Bielsa performance. But no, Tuesday night tops that for me. I thought Tuesday night was against West Brom was spectacular. It was the best performance under Bielsa, in my opinion, that I've seen. I think it was just BielsaBall at its best, and I had to put it on my list after that.
Fair enough. I've told you my 4. My 4 is the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I'll give you number 3. It's probably the point we got against Man City because I think it was, it was great to actually get a great result against a top class side, because I think there was a lot of build up about that Guardiola Bielsa game, and I think I was a bit worried that we were just going to turn up and get hammered basically. that did cross my mind, but to turn up and put in a really decent performance, and to be honest, we could have won that game, and I don't think anyone would have begrudged us that. So that I'd probably my number 3. It was just to see us come. You were talking about first game of the season, first game back in the Premier League, but to see us come up and compete against a side that's as fantastic as that's got to be number 3 on my list.
Yeah, I definitely considered that for my list as well. That was just to get a point against Manchester City is just phenomenal, a side like them. But no, it's fantastic performance from Leeds United, and what a game that was, especially that second half. It was fantastic, and I definitely considered that for my list. But number 3 for me had to be Pablo Hernandez's goal in that 1-0 win away at Swansea on the 12th of July. Because we were going into that, it was a tough game, against a good side in Swansea, away from home. It was 0-0 right until the end. It looked like it was going to finish 0-0. But no, the 89th minute, Luke Ayling bombing down the right wing, passing it into Pablo Hernandez, and the finish, agonizingly slow. The ball took so long to go into the back of the net, but when it did, oh my God, the scenes. It was just surreal. It was just, that it was that goal really, which made you start to believe, all right, this is it now, we're going up. Because if we had dropped points then, and you're thinking, right, we may slip back down. But no, it was that goal really and that win that really made me start to believe that promotion was on the cards. And it definitely had to be in my list.
That's number 2 on my list, because I was worried that whole game, and I think there's no way we're scoring here. And it got to obviously the 89th minute, and I was sat on this sofa at my house, and I was basically saying to my housemate, now we've dropped points again here. It's a bit disappointing, but we'll move on. We haven't conceded. It's been all right. And then to get that late, massive, huge goal to get us promoted was important. Was really important. Obviously, the Barnsley game is the one where we kind of sealed it, even though we played terribly in that game. But the Swansea, the moment at Swansea is one that people will always remember as the kind of moment it went from we might do this to this is going to happen.
Yeah, it was definitely a special moment from last season. So that's second on your list. Well, second on my list is promotion night on Friday the 17th of July, when Huddersfield beat West Brom 2-1 at home. The Emil Smith Rowe goal on the 86th minute that won the game for Huddersfield. When that goal went in, it was just an unbelievable feeling, because you're thinking, there's 5 minutes left here. Huddersfield have won this. West Brom have dropped points, and if West Brom drop points, we won promotion. And the final whistle blew when we won promotion. Going on Sky Sports, seeing the big yellow bar, Leeds United promoted to the Premier League. It was just a special night. The 17th of July, a day I will never forget. It was Leeds United winning promotion back to the Premier League for the first time in 16 years. Absolute scenes at Elland Road. The players coming out celebrating with the fans. It was just a surreal night. A surreal night. And, going into that as well, because it had come off the back of that 1-0 win over Barnsley at Elland Road. And even though we had picked 3 points up there, we got to 87 points, which, pretty much, that those 3 points did win us the promotion. But no, it was such a disappointing performance from Leeds, and it didn't feel like we had just won 3 points to win us promotion. You just sat back and you're like, this is awful from Leeds United, isn't it? And it kind of ruined that whole moment, really. But no, when Friday night rolled around and West Brom lost away at Huddersfield, it was surreal moment just to see Leeds United promoted back to the Premier League. Just incredible. It's what we've been wanting for so long, and for it to finally happen after 16 years, it had to be on my list.
I watched it in a pub where with my brother, my cousin, and my dad, and we were just watching it. And when the first goal went in, it was just me and my brother there. And obviously, everyone else came in along later. When Emil Smith Rowe scored the second one, scored the winner in like the 87th minute or whatever, we were all jumping up and cheering while people were trying to eat the Sunday dinner around us. It was really weird, but it was a fantastic night. It's actually number 1 on my list. It's the only post on my Instagram is pictures of that night. Just really enjoying ourselves, and it was just a fantastic moment.
Yeah,
It's just a shame it couldn't have been all we hoped it would have been. You know, parades
Yeah.
in the street, all night in the pubs and things. But you know, you can't have everything. And we got the moment.
Yeah, we got the moment. Promotion night. It was just, a surreal night. I was on the All Leeds TV live stream on that night, and I was very drunk, and we just had an absolute blast because I was staying at home. I was being sensible, staying at home, and just drinking until the early hours of the morning. I remember the Square Ball were doing a celebration live stream, and I was sat on my sofa 3 o'clock in the morning with a whiskey in my hand, very drunk, watching the Square Ball live stream of a bald man, a naked man, and a man sat in darkness just chat rubbish about Leeds United. It was it was a special night, and it's one which I will remember forever. But that's number one on your list. Well, number one on my list is us actually lifting the championship trophy on the 22nd of July after that 4-0 win over Charlton at Elland Road. Such a good performance over Charlton. A really good game. You know, you had the Ben White volley to open the scoring. Pablo then putting the ball through the legs of the defender to give it to Dallas to set him up for his goal. Yeah, Stewick's fantastic ball out to Poveda to set up Shackleton for his second goal in 2 games. You know, it was just a surreal performance, that 4-0 win over Charlton. And to watch Liam Cooper lift the trophy, that's the likes of Gordon Strachan, Gary McAllister lifted in 1992. The exact same trophy there. It's, just a surreal moment. Seeing Bielsa come out in his tracksuit and a Leeds United shirt on the wrong way round, seeing that smile when he's lifting the trophy, and that bus parade outside on the road and all the scenes there. It was just a surreal moment just to see us lift a trophy. It was spectacular, and definitely number one on my list.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was just a fantastic moment. I almost did not include that because I number one on my list was promotion, like you, and then I remembered, we actually lifted the trophy, didn't we? So I had to put it in. But it's just fantastic. I mean, 2020 has been a horrible year for so many people, but for Leeds United as a club and us fans, it's been a fantastic year, a historic year, winning the championship by 10 points. And winning promotion back to the Premier League after a 16-year absence. Plenty of highs to take away from this year. So Leeds United in 2020 have played 37 games, won 20 of them, drawn 5, lost 12, picked up 65 points in total, scored 65 goals and conceded 44. Only 1 red card, surprisingly. Bamford, the striker, scored 16 goals in 37 games. Just a surreal year for Leeds United. It's been a horrible year for a lot of people, but seeing Leeds United do well and win the championship was just a lot of highs to take from this year. As a Leeds United fan, and it's been a fantastic year. And there you go. That's mine and Charles's top 5 Leeds United moments of 2020. Please do let us know your own top 5 Leeds United moments of the year in the comments section below, or tweet us at allthingsleeds1. Let us know if you agree with any of our choices or why we're just 2 silly idiots who know nothing about football. The choice is yours. Tell us anything. But no, there you go. That's Charles and I's top 5 Leeds United moments of 2020. Well, let's now look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Tottenham Hotspur away from home this Saturday. The game kicks off at 12:30 p.m. and is live on BT Sport. Marcelo Bielsa versus Jose Mourinho. Mourinho coming up against Leeds for the first time ever, would you believe? Charles, how are you feeling heading into this game?
Well, I mean, the events of the last day or so have changed it a bit because Tottenham have clearly had a lot more rest. They haven't played a game against Fulham, so they'll have more rested players. They've got quality all over the team, really. I mean, you could talk about it for ages. Obviously, they've got Lloris in goal. They've got Kane. They've got Son. They've got Ndombele. He's brilliant. So they've got really good quality players.
Yeah.
And obviously, Mourinho, as much as he seems like personally he'd be a bit of a grumpy guy, a difficult guy to get along with. He is, despite recent years, an excellent tactician. He's going to figure out a way to probe for the weaknesses of the side, and he will hit us on the counter very quickly, and if we're not careful. So we have to properly prepare for this one, and I hope we're up to the challenge.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, I'm really nervous heading into this game. I mean, Spurs have some fantastic players, particularly going forward with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. Leeds are very, susceptible on the counter attack, and Spurs are probably one of the best teams at counter attacking, really. So, I'm bracing myself really for an absolute tonking here. I think Spurs could do some damage, and with the likes of Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez as well, they're quite good at set pieces too. So, Spurs can target us quite in quite a lot of ways.
Yeah, we just got to, take the confidence from the last couple of games, clean sheets and defensive solidity, and just cut the odd mistake out, like the Meslier one. cut any of them out, and just play our game. We play our game like we did, or even 3/4 as well as we did against West Brom. I think we'll fashion chances for ourselves, and I fancy us to potentially put one of them chances away.
Yeah, I mean, could you see the game going quite like the Man United game did? With quite a lot of chances for either side. Spurs getting in behind us, leaving space. Yeah, I hope not. But I mean, there could be plenty of goals in this game, couldn't there?
There could, but I'm hoping it's a bit more. I'm expecting it to be a bit more, slower pace and tactical, especially from a Mourinho side. We'll see how it goes, but I'm not expecting a flurry of early goals. He says, jinxing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a fascinating game that this is going to be. You could see plenty of goals, or you could see no goals. It's a really fascinating game, and I'm really looking forward to it. Really, I'm nervous, but I'm excited for it. I really am looking forward to playing Spurs on Saturday. If it does go ahead, hopefully it does. But yeah, Spurs are having quite a good season. To be fair, they've played 15, won 7, drawn 5, and lost just 3. The recent form though isn't too great. They've picked up just 1 point in their last 3 league games. They've dropped to 7th in the league table on 26 points, 3 points behind the top 4. So, Charles, Spurs, they'll be wanting to return to winning ways, no doubt, and move back into a Champions League place. So, Leeds are going to have to be well switched on to pick up anything from this game.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very difficult. They're not to be underestimated. They've got some properly quality players who will punish you if you're not careful. I'm expecting it to be very tough. Yeah,
it's certainly going to be a tough game, but of course Leeds go into it with a lot of confidence. 2 wins in a row, 2 clean sheets in a row. So hopefully we can continue that run of form and keep momentum going, which is very important in football. Do you think he'll be an unchanged lineup? Of course, 2 wins in a row. Would you keep it unchanged? If everyone's fit, of course.
I think you've got to give faith to the players that are getting you the results, and I think there's no reason to change it unless there's any kind of changes with injuries to, say, if Llorente or Cooper or anyone like that comes back. But even then, I think you'd be hard pressed to move Elland out of centre half at the moment. I think he's been phenomenal, really. So we'll see about that. I would keep it as it is. I also just want to say, bringing off Rafinha with 10 minutes to go yesterday was a bit confusing to me as well. I realised Bielsa wanted to give Costa a bit of game time, but I thought it was a strange sub to make. I think keeping him on the pitch for as long as possible is the best way to go. But yeah, I think it'll be unchanged.
Yeah, unless there's any, if there's any new injuries, and then of course there will be changes, but hopefully there isn't. But yeah, if Llorente or Cooper return for this game, I think it will be harsh to change up the defense after 2 clean sheets in a row. Yeah, why change a winning formula? And yeah, I can't see Bielsa making changes, and I think he'll be unchanged, and I'll be happy to see it unchanged. You'd expect him to go to the back 3 though, because Tottenham do play Harry Kane and Heung-min Son up front together, so anticipating the back 3, but personnel wise, I think it'll be unchanged. Now Leeds United have an awful record against Tottenham Hotspur, just 1 win in the last 8 meetings, with 2 draws and 5 defeats. We haven't beaten them in the Premier League since the 4th of November 2001, where we beat them 2-1 at Elland Road. We did the double over them that season, and the 2 previous seasons before that. But no, the last time Leeds United actually faced Tottenham Hotspur, though, was on the 27th of January 2013 in the FA Cup 4th round, and Leeds somehow won 2-1 at Elland Road against a pretty strong Tottenham Hotspur side. Gareth Bale were playing, but no, they were no match for Luke Varney, were they, who scored in that game. And Ross McCormack scored in that game as well. And there were Spurs, a very good Premier League side in Spurs, were no match for Michael Brown and Michael Tong and Luke Varney.
I can't believe that was ever our midfield.
Yeah.
I've still got scars in my memory from remembering them too, flailing about, 2-footing people randomly. Dark times.
Yeah, but no, I remember that game. I was at that game, and it was very good, very very surprising, but not very good. But what do you see happening on Saturday, Charles? Can you see Leeds United picking up any points here? What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go for a score draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Yeah, I would certainly take a point. We're away at Tottenham Hotspur. They're a good team. I'd certainly take a point, but I quite fancy Leeds. Yeah, 3-2. 3-2 to Leeds.
Fantastic game of football. Yeah.
Let's go for it. Hopefully it is a fantastic game of football, and hopefully Leeds United can start the new year with a win. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 84 of Your Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me remotely, of course.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
No worries at all. Hopefully you have a good week, and we'll catch up in the new year. And thank you as well to everyone who has watched or listened. We really do appreciate the support. If you enjoyed, then make sure to subscribe and follow on whatever platform you are on right now. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts as well if you have an Apple device. Share the podcast around as well. It really does help us out. And make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds on Facebook, and search All Things Leeds on YouTube as well. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Charles and I won't be back until the new year. As I say, Charles, have you got any plans to celebrate the new year?
Not plans going out or anything such like that. I'll just be celebrating with my family, I think, bringing in the new year. So I'll see you and speak to subscribers next year.
I hate those jokes where they say, "Oh yeah, I'll see you next year." No, you'll see me tomorrow. It's just different. But no, hopefully you have a lot of fun celebrating the new year, mate. And I wish you all the best going into the new year, dude. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to be cooking steaks on New Year's Eve, cooking steaks for the family, and just drinking, celebrating, heading into 2021 and saying goodbye to what a horrible year for so many people 2020 has been. I must say, 2020, it's been hard for a lot of people, but especially me, myself, mentally, and I just want to say thank you to you, Charles, and everyone who contacted All Things Leeds, got in touch on the comments on social media, and being interactive with us, because it's it really helped me. And looking forward to these podcasts every week and doing all the live streams. At the end of last season, it was something to look forward to, and I think looking forward to something is important. So yeah, thank you to you, Charles. Thank you to everyone else who's contributed in All Things Leeds, and all the viewers and subscribers. I really do appreciate it. It's got me through this year. It really has. So thank you very much for that. And hopefully 2021. Hopefully 2021 is a lot better than 2020. But yeah, we will see you until the new year. So for now, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and have a happy new year.